Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shawcraft One and my old barn door, and I've just come back to do the second video in the Ring Binder Journal series. So the last video we kind of got our papers picked, got our book pages picked, got our binder cleaned, and so now I'm cutting the papers and getting them trimmed up to the size of the book page that we need. We need this size book page, and so I figured we would just go as far as we can through the process, do kind of a 30-minute video or so. That way we keep the videos, so they're not so long. And so we'll go as far as we can get, and then we'll go to the next video. So I'm just trimming up paper. So what I do first is I trim the tops off of the papers. And then what I do is I'm going to turn this. I want to cut my width first because the width is less than the length. The width is 7 inches. The length is 10 1/4. So if I cut the width first, it leaves me more of my paper left, and it's not so chopped up. So that's just kind of a little tip there on saving your paper. So we're just going to cut, and I have quite a bit of the papers cut already, because how boring would it be for you to have to sit and watch me cut all these papers up? But I did want you to see, a little bit of how I do it, and how I, I try to cut the width first before the length, because, to save your paper and stuff. And then sometimes I will only cut the length and I will leave the width because I want my papers to fold. So I think with these last two, I'm going to do it that way. So that way you can have some cute little fold outs. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave the width. I'm going to cut 10 1/4. And then that one will be folded. It'll be a fold out in the journal. So we'll do that with this one as well. Let's see. And then I may pick some more design paper according to once we start putting pages into the book. To add color and things like that. So to add some cuteness. So we'll just play with it as we go. Okay, so I have all of the papers cut. So I am going to move my trimmer out of the way. And then this is our stack of papers. And this is our stack of book pages. So we have lots of work to do to get these put into the journal. So what I first do is I'll bring my journal over, or my ring binder over. I just love this ring binder. And we probably need to do the inside pages first before we start putting things in the journal, because we need to have it prepared and ready for stuff to go inside. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to scoop these pages over out of the way for a second, and I'm going to pick what I want my inside covers to look like. So let me just take a look at the journal cover. I think I want some gingham or something for the inside papers. So let's just, I have this paper pack here. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I believe I did. And I got it on sale for $5. Can't beat that. So I'm going to just pull my ring binder over here on this side so I can kind of see. I don't want the bright pink. I kind of like this one, but let's flip through. Although I like the red too. Oh, I really like the orange. I'm going to pull the orange piece out. And we're going to go through, just kind of flip through. And basically, I sit this beside my paper pack so I can kind of compare and see what I have. I really like the yellow gingham too. I like the yellow polka dots too, though. We're going to pull both of these out. This is what I do. I pull stuff out that I don't know. I really like the green gingham. I knew it was going to be some kind of gingham. I just love the gingham. Can we say gingham one more time? Gingham, gingham. While I'm looking through here, I wanted to tell you guys a story. It's a little bit difficult for me to share. And you'll know why when I start sharing it. But it's kind of a sensitive thing or a sensitive subject or whatever. But most of you know, if you've watched my channel for very long at all, that my husband had a heart attack. It was 2 years ago in October. And it was just a really, really, really hard time. He actually died on me 4 times, and they had to revive him. And when they took him into emergency surgery, it was emergency open heart surgery, they did not expect him to live. So it was a very scary time for me. But anyways, so it was, you know, we got through it. All of the doctors and nurses that came back on shift the next day and saw that he was still alive, they were just absolutely shocked because they thought that they would come back into work and he would be gone. So it was a really, really serious situation. And so we went through a very trying time at that point. Okay, so I think I'm going to pause the story for just a second because I really think I like this green gingham. So we're going to go as far as we can go with the green gingham. And then we'll see. I think we may only get to do the front cover with the green gingham, so we can choose a different color to go on the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this off really gently. But anyways, so where was I? Oh, it was a really trying time. And we got through it, and we finally were able to go home. Well, we had just, this was when we lived out on the farm that I talk to you guys about quite often, and that I miss so very much. But anyways, I'm trying not to tear the paper, but I don't guess it's going to matter because we're going to cover it up. So anyways, during all of this, we had just recently found mold in our bedroom on the farm that we were living in. And once we kind of put 2 and 2 together, I had been sick the whole time we lived there. From the very first month when we moved in, I started having migraines, and I had been sick the whole time that we had lived there. But it was just kind of different things on and off. So, you know, you just didn't put 2 and 2 together. So, anyway, I'm going to have to pull my trimmer back out. And I'm going to see if I can take this tape off of here. Maybe I should just cut it. So anyways, we had just found out that we had mold in the house, and we had talked to our landlord because we were renting, and you know, he was in denial. He didn't want to recognize that it was mold. He just kept saying it's just mildew. So, but he wasn't having the symptoms that I was having. So anyway, long story short, I was afraid to take him back to that house after having, you know, his whole chest cut open and the whole ordeal, you know, and his body being as weak as it was. So we decided that we were going to move out of the house. I just didn't want to take him back to that house to recover. So his mom was nice enough to let us move in with her and be able to live with her until he got a little better because, we were both doing bail bonds at the time. And so, you can't very well, I wasn't going to go chase fugitives without him. And, you just kind of get a whole different perspective on life when things like that happen, and you just make some changes. And so that's what we did. We both lost our job. Didn't really lose our job, but we chose not to be in that profession anymore. So we both had to change our career. So anyways, it was a struggle. We didn't have a whole lot of money. I was still working for a friend of mine in the bonding company. In the bonding field. I changed over and started working for her instead of working for myself. Just doing her office work and things like that on a part-time basis, just to kind of supplement our income, until Jeff got better. So anyway, I did not mean to drag all of that out, but, it was a struggle. It was really a struggle. It was a struggle on us financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, everything you can imagine. So, you almost lose your husband. You lose pretty much you lose your home. You lose everything. And so we were going through a really hard time. And, we were at his mom's house. It was coming up on Christmas, and it was just frustrating. And so it just seemed like everything that could hit us was hitting us all at one time. And so I had to pack up the whole house by myself. I didn't have any help. He, of course, could not come back there and help me. So a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, I had to go and pack up everything. So I was on my way to the house, and I was in his truck, and the battery, it kept not wanting to crank. And so on the way back to the house, and we lived an hour away from his mom, so I was driving back and forth an hour every time I had to go work on packing. So anyways, I'm just trying to line this up with the inside cover so I know exactly where to cut, and then I'll mark my lines and cut it. So anyways, I got in the truck that morning to head back to the old house to do some packing. And I was just, you just have those days where you're just really down, and, you're just frustrated and you're tired, and you're like, God, what in the world, can you just please give us a break? And so I actually, I sat there while the truck was warming up, and I just prayed. And I said, would you just please let something good happen today? Give us a little hope. Didn't think anything else of it. Cranked the truck. Headed on my way to, I didn't cut that right at all, did I? What in the world? Run that mouse some more, Diane. Yes, I did. Okay, I cut it to where it would slide up underneath the binder part a little bit. So, I swear I'm not crazy. Well, maybe I am. But anyways, so I had something really profound that happened to me that day. And so I had posted it on Facebook. And I have not even thought about that in such a long time. And it showed up in my memories on Facebook this morning. And it just, I was just weeping when I read that memory on Facebook. So I just want to read to you guys. I just want to read the memory to you guys. It says, this morning I prayed and asked God to just let something good happen today for a change. Boy, did he show out. I went by Advance Auto to have the battery checked in the truck because it's been having problems starting. The guy checked it, said it was the battery, and I asked him for the cheapest one they had, so he got it. I paid for it, and he installed it. While doing the installation, we had a small talk, and I told him about Jeff's heart attack and a little about the whole crazy experience. When he finished installing the battery, he asked me to step back inside, so I did. Long story short, this precious man gave me a full refund for the battery and with tears in his eyes told me to have a Merry Christmas. I am all to pieces, y'all. God is so good. So I said all of that to say that I know it's around the holidays and times get stressful around the holidays and things get hard, money gets tight, and sorry, it just makes me a little emotional. But, you can ask God for whatever you want to ask Him for, and He hears you, even if it's the smallest thing, because He's a great big God. And if you think about it, if you think about how big He is, everything's small to Him. It doesn't matter if you ask Him to give you $1 million. That's so small to Him. You know what I'm saying? He's just that big and He's just that good. So if you find yourself struggling through the holidays and having a hard time and just really needing something, just ask Him. Just ask Him, because I promise you, He will show up and He will show out. So anyways, I don't know why that hit me like it did. I've seen that memory before, but it just hit me today. And so I just thought I'd share it with y'all because, maybe somebody out there needs that. Maybe somebody out there needs to hear that. And, even if you're not religious, which I'm not religious, I'll go ahead and tell y'all, I absolutely despise religion. I hate the judgmentalness of the church. So just to make that clear, I do go to church. I have a wonderful church. I don't go every time the doors are open, but I do go to church. And I love my church, and I love my pastor. He's a great man. But I just, you don't have to be religious to talk to God. He hears you. Excuse me. It doesn't matter if you go to church or not. He hears you and He loves you. So if you're going through a hard time, if you just need a little something good, just ask Him. And I'm telling you, He will always, always, always give you way more than you ask for. So anyways, that just touched me this morning, and I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys. I don't know why. Maybe I'm supposed to share it. Maybe somebody out there needs to hear it. So there you go. You just ask Him. He does care. He cares deeply. He loves you, and He will give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, even when you don't know what you need. So, there's my little spiel for today. I just wanted to share that. Hopefully, it'll help somebody. I just know that, through the holidays, it gets tough. There's lots of things that people face through the holidays, and it just seems to be more prominent. I mean, people face things every day, but it just seems to be more prominent through the holidays for some reason. And I don't know why. I'm not real sure why. I'm sure there's a reason, but anyways, so that's just my little 2 cents for the day. So we can get back to making our journal. But I don't know, I just really felt pressed to kind of share that today. I don't know, maybe it was for me because I really needed that today. It was awesome. Sometimes you just need a reminder that in His world, your world's just real tiny. And He's got you. He's got it. So back to the journal. So I'm just I have this Allen's Tacky Glue that my sweet friend Sarah sent to me. And so I am just brushing it on with a brush. And it can get a little thick the longer the lid's open. So if it gets too thick, I just kind of I'll dip my brush in my little water jar just to kind of, thin it out a little bit. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some up under the binder, the metal piece because I'm going to slide that paper up underneath that binder. Alright, so I think we've got everything covered. Let me put the lid back on this real quick. And then I just want to set it over here to make sure I put it in the right way. Okay, so then the first, I'm going to go in and slide it underneath the binder as far as it'll go first. Make sure I get it lined up at the top and the bottom before I lay it down good. And then, excuse my reach, I'm going to grab my bone folder and I'm just going to start pressing it in. Okay, and I'll hold this end up just to make sure that, you know, it doesn't wrinkle or crease or anything. So I just press down a little at a time so that, you know, it's not so hard to get it to stick. See, and I got it a little crooked, so I'm going to pull it back up. Maybe. I might not. Nope, it's not going. So that's okay though. We can put something up there to decorate that with or whatever. But you really don't even notice it. It's just a little bit right there. So then I take my little, I'm telling y'all, I use this little gift card for everything. So I'm just going to run this over my paper. And what that does is it just gives it a good hold. It flattens everything out and it helps to prevent bubbles. So I've got a little bit on this corner right here. So I'm just going to take my little bottle of glue and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue and smear it around on that corner where it's not adhering down real good yet. And that way we have it down. Now, I just want to make sure that that's good and attached. Okay, so, and you will get a little bit of bubbling, like right here, there's a bubble coming up, so I'm just going to run this over it a little bit more to try and get the bubbles out, but you really can't see them. You know, I can feel them just a little bit, but okay. Now, here is a tip. I was going to reinforce this before I put this paper on, and I forgot to do it. So, I'm going to reinforce it now, and I'm going to take my scraps from this and put it back over here. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to grab some masking tape real quick. Hang on just one second. I find that masking tape is really good tape to reinforce your spines with, just to make sure, you know, like, and they're not big cracks, but they're just, you know, little cracks. But to me, if there's a crack there, then that means that it's weakening. So I want to do something to strengthen it, to make sure that, you know, it stays good together for years to come. So let me see if I can find the end of my masking tape. Is that it? Boy, it's hard to see. I don't think it is. Well, if the light, okay, there it is. Brand new rolls, sometimes they're hard to find the ends of them. You would think they would put like a little piece of paper or something to show you where the end is, but that's okay. All right. He don't want to come off. There we go. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my masking tape and I'm going to get some, I'm going to have some extra at the top and some extra at the bottom. And I am just going to lay it down in this crease as close to that binder, the middle piece, as I can get it. And then I am going to, well, let me trim this off first. Whoops. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to press it in real good into the crease and then pull it out this way. Okay. And that way it covers the cracks where it's starting to crack. And then I'm just going to fold it on over to the outside of the journal. And that's just going to reinforce it a little bit. And I may put a second, I think I am going to put a second piece. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up at the top. And I am going to push it up underneath here as far as I can get it. Press it down. And then I think what I want to do is wrap it around the spine of the book. So I'm going to turn it over this way. And I'm going to wrap it on down through here and line it up so it reinforces on that crease. And then we'll go one more time. And I'm going to tell you, you wrap this sucker 3 times and it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be good and sturdy because this masking tape is great. So you want to try to not have any creases in your masking tape, but if you get, you know, 1 or 2, it's not going to hurt anything because you are going to put paper over it. So we're going to go one more time down this way. Just like that. And then I'm going to trim it off. And just make sure that that's good and even at the top. So now you've got a good sturdy spine. So what you want to do at this point is you want to kind of take your bone folder and you're going to kind of work that tape into that crease. Just bend your book page, you know, your book cover a little bit, back and forth, and pressing it back and forth so that that tape gets down in there really tight and that it stays in place good. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Even though I've already put my paper on there, I just think that it would be worth it to go ahead and tape it, simply because I just wanted to have a good hold. So I'm going to go up underneath there as far as I can get it. I'm going to push it down into my crease, trying not to get any wrinkles in my tape. And again, you might have 1 or 2, but it'll be okay. That is the one good thing I love about journaling, is nothing has to be perfect. Because if it did, I'd be in trouble. Okay, so we're going to turn it over. We're going to go this way with it. We're going to press it down real good. Kind of get it in that crease too. And we're not going to worry about the tape being on this side because we're going to cover this. Alright, so we're going to go one more time. Wrap it one more time. I'm going to get that tape up underneath as far as I can. It just ain't going to go very far up under there. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to try and rub my wrinkles out, but, you know, you're going to get a wrinkle. It just can't be helped, but that's okay. Alright, and then we're going to wrap it one more time in the back. Okay. And that just reinforces that spine and makes sure that, you know, it's not going to rip. Okay, and I'm going to take my bone folder into this crease. And I'm going to slowly start bending my book upwards like this, just to make sure my tape gets in that crease real good. So that just is kind of a way that you can reinforce the spine of your journal. All right, back to the paper. I didn't mean for this video to take this long, guys. Now, it will make it a little stiffer, but that's okay. You kind of want it to be because you know it's in there good and sturdy. So let me get this piece of, I'm just going to take this piece right here, and I am going to recut it. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I have a butter knife right here, so I'm going to take this butter knife and I'm just going to run it up under there real good and make sure my tape is laying down good, because that's going to allow my paper to slide up under here a little better. Just like that. Alright. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to make my marks to where I need to trim this paper. And we'll trim him right there. See, when you make mistakes when you're doing journals, you just can fix them. That's the good thing about doing journals, is there is really no huge mistakes. Alright, I'm going to trim this off a little bit. I'm going to trim it to about right there so that there's not so much to have to deal with right there. This video is a little bit crazy, but that's okay. It's me. It's how I do things. So you guys just have to love me and forgive me at the same time. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is just put little bits of glue at a time. So let me just pull my Aleene's out. And what I'll probably do, I'm probably going to glue on the paper so that when I slide it up under that ring, it'll stick. And I just want my glue to be really, really thin. If you notice, I am not putting a lot of glue on here at all. Because the thinner the glue, it seems, the less chance you have of it wrinkling up on you. Alright. And I know a lot of people have asked me to show how I do the decoupaging on the ring binder covers. So I do have a blank ring binder that I can do that with. I just wasn't going to do it on this one because the cover's so pretty. So I will, maybe at the end of this series, I will pull that ring binder out and do the decoupaging on it so that you can kind of see how I do it. Alright, so I'm going to take my bone folder here, press it down into that crease, and then just lay it down. And a lot of times I find it's better to keep my bone folder in the crease and then brush my paper out to get it to lay down, because then you don't have a gap in your crease. You know, the paper's touching in the crease and it's also touching out here. So I know we have a line here, and that's okay because we can put a piece of lace or something there to make it pretty. So we'll do that later on. So now we need to cut a piece for the back side. I wish y'all were live and you could tell me if I should do the orange gingham or the yellow polka dots. I like the yellow polka dots. That's the one we're going to go with. Because if I sit and try to decide forever, well, I will never get my ring binder done. Alright, so I'm just going to measure. And the way I'm measuring this, I know I was telling my little story earlier. I'm going to put my brush back in my water bottle for a second. So the way I measure is I measure from the top part of the inside paper to the bottom part of the inside paper. So I just try to make my cut match that paper. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little mark right here. I'm going to go ahead and trim that. And then I'll go back and do the measurement for the outside. Okay, so that's how tall I need it. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to push this up underneath here as far as I can get it to go. Oh good, it's going to go up under there real good. Okay, so then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kind of lift this up so I can see the edge of this piece. And I'm going to go right outside the edge of that piece. And that way I can make sure I have enough paper, because your crease is going to take a little bit of your paper. So you have to kind of make measurements to accommodate that. Okay, so let me see. I'll just slide this back under here again. Okay, so we are good to go with this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Aleene's. My Aleene's is a little bit dried out, so what I've been doing is just adding a little water to it and stirring it up, but I should have done that before I did this video. That's not cooperating, is it? Hang on, I'm going to fix it. Okay, let's see if that's a little better. I just couldn't get it to cooperate for a minute. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our glue on here. Let me see. I'm trying to check my time and I can't see it. Oh, we're at 36 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here. Sorry about all of my chatter. I was hoping to get a lot more done than what I got done. But, you know, sometimes you just have to stop and you just have to stop and share. It just happens, you know. So it's me, it's who I am, it's how I function. So I'm trying to hurry and see if I can get this on, so can we at least got something accomplished on the video. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not sorry for telling you the story, because somebody needed to hear that story. And you know, somebody's going through a hard time. There's always somebody going through a hard time. So you know, people just need some help sometimes, and they need some encouraging words sometimes, and if I can be the one to give it, then that's what I'm going to do. So I'm thinning out my glue a little bit here, and then I'm going to put a pretty good amount of glue on this masking tape, so that I can be sure that that paper's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to push as much up underneath that ring binder as I can. And it don't matter if you get it on the ring binder, because you can wipe it off with a baby wipe. It's no problem at all. So, just trying to hurry here, guys. So sorry. Alright. Okay, I think I've got good coverage, and I do need to get that little glob off of the middle there. Oops. Well, there we go. I'm making a mess trying to hurry. I need to stop. But yeah, I've got the right edge. So I'm going to slide this up under here as far as I can get it to go. Make sure that I'm lined up good with the top and the bottom. Whoops, I didn't mean for that to stick. And then where'd my bone folder go? Alright, so we're just going to take the bone folder, push it down into that crease first before you go out to the outside edge. And then we're just going to do a little at a time. And this just kind of helps you to not have as many bubbles and stuff. Okay. So we're going all the way to the edge. And then I'm going to take my card, because this card it does real good as far as mashing everything good and flat. Now I do want to take my bone folder, because I see a little bit of a gap down here. And I don't want that gap. Oops, let's please not spill that glue bottle water. Okay. So I'm seeing it bubbling just a little bit, but it's, like I say, it's okay if it bubbles just a little bit. Just adds to the aged look, or the aged look. So, okay, so that's it for this video. We've got the cover, the inside cover done, and we got our pages cut. So I'll come back and do the next video. And again, I'm sorry I didn't get as much done in this video, but, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so. Love you guys real big. Leave any comments or questions in the comment box below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the little bell if you want notification when I upload new videos. Just click that little bell on there, and it'll send you a notification. So anyways, thanks for watching, you guys. Leave me any comments or questions you have below. And you guys have a great day. Big hugs.